Hello there, YouTube. Start off by showing you this poor old. I've had this for so long. This came out of the garbage. I worked on a truck at a gas company one time. They had a box of garbage, and I took this out and took this back to the shop. And the boss I was working for said, "That ain't no good." I looked at it, threw it back in the junk box. Well, I'm still using it. I put another cord on. Is all I did. We're going to show how to make a tip out of number 12 gauge copper wire. I'm too cheap to buy tips for it. I've never bought a tip for it since I've owned it. And I've owned this probably since about 1990. Here's the old one, it's all shot. And I just bend it out of number 12 copper. Pretty simple. See how that's shaped. Cut it plenty long enough. That way you can always just imitate the shape. This will be the bottom, where it drops down the bottom element. And all I do is cut the old ones off. Sure don't fly towards me. Because when I put these in here, then I'll just bend the L shape. So we'll put it together real quick and show you a quick clip of tinning it, because you want to tin it with solder on the end before you use it. Okay. See where I chopped off the extra nubs there. I try to keep a space in here because I don't want this touching. I want this to be apart. Let me go off camera here where I can see what I'm doing. I'll put a little screwdriver in there. Okay. You don't want those touching. Okay. How I do it. Once in a while you have to take these out and clean them, these screws. Believe it or not, copper wire has almost like a lacquer coating on it. If you transform wire, here's that red coating, it almost has a shellac on it. When you do important stuff, it ain't house wire at all. What I'll do is, being I'm out in the shop, is I'll get a good amount of solder on here. And then I just, of course, shake it off on the floor. But you want to tin this first. Get back on camera. Before you use this, you want to make sure it's had some solder on it and it's tinned. And I'll just shake it. You get the idea. I'll switch hands here. I'll take my brush and brush it off. You really shouldn't use sandpaper. It leaves a lot of crap that you don't want behind. So I'm here on camera. Don't know which hand to use the gun in. But I tin it. This is 100 and 140 watts. I just crank it all the way up when I tin it. Instead, I'll just shake it away from me. It doesn't matter if it goes on the floor or out in the shop. This is not a high flux solder. This is a small diameter solder. There's not a lot of flux in this solder. It doesn't tin like some of that big stuff. But the reason I have is 32 thousandths. The reason I use this is for small stuff. You should keep your soldering stuff so the air really don't get to it. It's getting kind of dull. Plus handle it in your hand. You really shouldn't. I usually have a small container I reuse where you get solder in that little you can put in your pocket. This should be put up so it doesn't get in the air and oxidize. We still got her plugged in. You'll see how it's changed color. But I will use these till they shuck out, and finally what happens, they finally break it in. If you look real close to this, if I clean it, it was starting to break at the end. But if it was a good one, brand new, of course I wouldn't want to do this, but this was free. I've got a lot of years use out of this. Been around in early 1990s. I mean, I've got a lot of use out of it. It seems it'll change a little more color on camera. You can tell it's gotten hot. But they last a while. It's economical. You're not buying them. You're always gonna, if you do house wiring or anything, like stuff like I've done, well, they're right into my notebook there. One of the little different backgrounds instead of the junky old desk. But, whew, that's hot. And of course, everybody knows, I'm sure if you solder, the wet sponge idea. I usually just have a rag I dip in water and wash it off before I use it. If it's been laying around the shelf, I'll wipe it off, then I'll fire it up, and I'll take a wet sponge to it, and then I may re-tin it a little bit, but it should stay tinned pretty good. If you see outer on the end, at the right angle, it'll stay tinned pretty good. We still got the trigger pulled here. Went off it there. But it's back when they built stuff. It's broke out. That's really not safe. You've got your finger in there. I should figure out a way to repair that where that's broken out. It's supposed to look like this. I should find a way to repair this so you don't stick your finger inside of there. Back when they made stuff. I don't know what the design looks like now. I don't even look at them, but I'm sure they're still similar. Some noise out there. Well, thanks for watching. This one's too long.